It's August 2023. The multi-million-pound complete renovation of Skinner's Hall, possible only due to David Beale's legacy, continues apace. Over 50 skilled contractors are routinely on site, working to improve every aspect of the hall, from the deepest vaults to the highest ceilings. Today, a giant crane is lifting tons of the latest air source heating technology onto the roof of the hall to help us towards the greening of our scheduled ancient monument. Our clerk, Andrew Kennett, and the chairman of the hall renovation panel, Lord Malmesbury, are going to give us a behind-the-scenes tour of the project's progress.
We're watching the arrival of air source heat technology on the roof of the outer hall. Underneath me, there is a complex girdered structure to support the weight, and this innovation is going to reduce the carbon footprint of the hall by an amazing 70 to maybe upwards 90% over the next 20 to 30 years. It's quite an exciting sight, and you'll see attached to the side of this unit is the Skinner's Company banner, guided by expensive blue nylon ropes that we found in a gutter down by the Thames.
Okay. Just like to say thanks to all the team for a key stage in this project, the installation of the mechanical plant on the roof.
Team roof.
Cheers.
We're standing in front of Skinner's Hall, right at the top, with the pediment here and the coat of arms, which has been freshly decorated and gilded. And the background is some very rare material. It's called codestone. One of the pleasures of being up at this level and seeing it close up is that when one looks at it carefully, there are spots on the animal, which I don't think have ever been picked out before. The coat of arms here has the Skinner's emblem that you see all over the place. It's called Dart and Ball, but it's representative of the ermine.
We're standing on Dowgate Hill. This is the 8.5 entrance. If you follow me, I'll show you the new way into the hall. This is fully accessible for members who, for those who have mobility challenges, will continue straight on to an entrance I'll show you shortly, but everyone else will come into the hall this way. On the right is a reception area, the hall staff on the left. And as you follow me into this area, those of you who've come in through number 8 before will recognise the door on my left. And the whole of this area is going to be turned into a welcoming and comfortable reception area where people can either wait to attend appointments or do tours of the hall. For those attending events or special functions, this is the 8.5 entrance. Follow me this way. Into the inner courtyard. In front of you lies the entrance to the banqueting hall, but visitors will come through this entrance and a new staircase where Brangwen's Harmony picture will be hung to set it off in proper Skinner's style.
As a project, I think we've been at it at least 7 years from sort of concept. We've obviously appointed architects, we've appointed builders, and it's using the whole of the hall. A lot of the hall was wasted before, and I think one of the things that's come out of it is just how much more usable the hall will be and accessible, and it will be absolutely magnificent when it's done.
One of the key features of the renovation is to give accessibility to all rooms and all levels of the hall, some 45 in total. And here I'm standing on the mezzanine floor of the outer hall, and if you follow me now, you can see that the roof terrace will no longer be accessed by 2 or 3 steps, but be raised to this level, which also meets the courtroom. As we walk over to the windows and look out onto the roof terrace, you can see the construction of the new lift shaft and the various areas of flooring that are being put on a new level of girders to raise the level of the roof terrace so that the steps which previously accessed it are no longer there for the purposes of better accessibility.
It really has been very complex with lots of people working in masses of different trades with 50 odd people on site at a time. And it's come on, every time I come on site, I see something new, something exciting.
This is a key area of the concept to restore the wow factor, but everyone will recognise this once it's renovated. Unfortunately cluttered with building material at the moment, and the Malmesbury chandelier will be reinstated in the centre of this magnificent room. Amongst the top 3 characteristics in this renovation programme is to restore the wow factor to the banqueting hall, something which clearly you can see hasn't happened yet. But in this room, the Brangwens will be much better lit, and there'll be a measure of temperature control to keep the air fresh during both summer and winter functions. From the Minstrels Gallery, you can see a web of scaffolding obscuring the areas where the Brangwens will be rehung, relit, the atmosphere improved with a fresh circulation system, and the gilding to the ceiling will be restored, making sure that the banqueting hall provides that celebrated wow factor for which Skinners Hall is well known. On the first floor of the Dowgate area of the hall, we've got a fantastic opportunity to give new space to members and potential commercial clients. You're looking at me standing at the moment in what was the Finance Director's office, and through this gap used to be the Clerk and the Master's PA. That'll become a drawing room, and this room will have a boardroom table. It has its own dedicated kitchen, toilet area and 2 breakout rooms, one of which will be familiar to you and was known as the parlour. We're standing in the old courtroom. Behind me you can see the magnificent staircase that came from Mansion House, and above me the courtroom will be further renovated and give access onto the roof terrace with some amazing views both of Paternoster Church next door and to the new pavilion. You get a real sense of the new roof terrace here, open as it is to the elements, catching the afternoon sun from 4:30 onwards. In front of me will be the new pavilion, which will allow us to support catering at this level. And to my right, under these windows, as they did in the old courtroom below, these will open up on a summer's evening onto the roof terrace, giving parties an extraordinary insight into the heart of the company's courtroom and enjoying the spectacle of the terrace itself.
It's been a huge privilege to be chairman of this committee and to have worked with a really nice team of people who want to get the job done properly.
I'm standing on the ground floor of number 9. This used to be the Clerk's house, unfortunately for me no longer. And we're going to put the library now in this exquisite room overlooking the inner courtyard at 8.5. There are 2 or 3 really exciting spaces in the renovated hall, areas that members will unlikely or very unlikely to have seen in the past, but of all of them, this is my favourite. This is the vaults, and this will be suitable for a variety of events, everything from an exhibition or a lecture through to a banquet. And this was previously 3 areas, the gilt and silver vault, a wine store and a workshop. And the wine is going to be stored in one of 2 areas at this end of the vaults, behind secure glass in humidity controlled environments. When you arrive through the inner courtyard, having come through 8.5, you come into the normal entrance to the hall, which is above my head, above this new corridor which gives access through different spaces which we couldn't do before. There'll be a new staircase on the right, and the area behind me is a dedicated area to member changing room and other facilities. We haven't talked about any of the historic features that we found, but whilst we were stripping out the hall, we discovered this kitchen range in the basement, which was clearly for significant historic purpose, but no one's been able to pin it down. Anyway, we're now in the area given over to members' loos, changing, other facilities, and this is the ladies' area, the gentlemen's is on the other side. This is where the plant's going. It's been relocated because bizarrely it used to be on the first floor of the hall. So now we'll have plant on the roof, air source heat technology, and down here in the basement. So all the vital services come in through this area on Dowgate Hill. We're now on the 3rd floor of Skinner's Hall. This is an area not often visited by anyone other than the clerk, the hall steward, Wayne, who lives in, and the master of the year. And on this floor, we've reinstated a level that was removed during the demolition modification process in the 40s, and we're standing in there now, which will be reconstituted as the clerk's room. And if you follow me through, you'll see the hall steward's flat and then the master's. The master's space has the benefit of an extraordinary meeting cum drawing room that will allow us the flexibility to do both business and social meetings on this level of the hall. And here a rare glimpse of the hall steward's flat, which sits on Dowgate Hill, and we probably won't invade his privacy more by going through into the other area that he occupies. As we come into the new Walbrook courtyard, giving access to the vaults on my left, there'll be a service corridor which we have discovered some quite interesting historic features of the old hall. This area here we now believe to be the kitchen garden footpath, atop with paving slabs. And the area of spoil that was dug out appeared to be full of carbon, which the historic building analyst thinks might have been left over from the charred ruins of the hall when it burnt down during the Great Fire in 1666. And in this area, we discovered another extraordinary feature which sadly has been covered up by this plasterboard. Behind me are the remnants of a Victorian heating system, but underneath this board there are 17th century timbers which were a landing and staircase which came up from College Street and allowed the court access to the courtroom. And I'm told, who knows whether this is anecdotal or fact, but under this area what we found was actually the area in which the long drop toilet used by the courtroom in medieval times might have fallen into the kitchen garden, the better to fertilise our vegetables.
Once the work is done, the company will have an asset that will stand us in very good stead. I mean, we work in long-term plans at Skinner's, and I think this will be in very good order still in 100 years' time. And it'll be a space available to let. It's totally modernised, it's green, it's going to be a good working environment for our staff, which we value enormously. It has so many things going for it. Really excited for the company and for those who come to use the hall.